Well, hello and welcome back on into another episode of Around the World in 80 Stays. I'm your host, Sean Keane, and today we are here with Veronica Ramirez. I'm going to let her introduce herself, as always, where she studied and what's going on with her.
Yay, I'm so excited to be here. Well, as you said, I'm Veronica Ramirez. I am a global health major on the pre-OT track. I studied abroad in South Africa over the summer for 2 months. It was such an amazing experience. I got to intern at a clinic. So yeah, I'm excited to talk about it. Excited to get people to go to South Africa because you definitely should.
Well, that's the first point that we can start with. Talk about South Africa. Why South Africa?
I chose South Africa. I was between Kenya, Jordan, and South Africa. I told all my friends and family, I was like,
Anywhere but the ordinary.
I wanted to go anywhere but Europe because I was like, I know Europe will be there for me after I graduate. I want to go somewhere new and fun that I've never heard anyone go to. So I chose South Africa. I Googled a picture and I was like, wow, it looks cute. Let's go.
You know you can't trust everything you see on the internet, right?
But I did for this one because there's multiple images, so that means it had to be true.
Verifying sources, very, very good. Talk about the application process for that, especially as a global health major and things like that. I'm sure that's kind of rigorous, a little bit rigid, kind of hard to find your placement in. How'd you go about finding that?
Yeah, honestly, I was really lost when it came to studying abroad. No one in my realm of people I was around had ever studied abroad, so I didn't know where to start, but the study abroad fair was where I went. For some reason, I went there. And they really guided me on what the next steps were. And I met with my advisor, Monica. She was like, you got to do this, this, this. And she gave me the links, which was great. Just clicked on the links. I applied through IES abroad. I also applied through the university because you have to do 2 separate applications. And then I went. I talked with my advisor for global health. I was like, hey, I'm doing this. He was like, perfect. Come back, give me your transcript, and we'll put it on your major. I was like, wow, it's that easy.
It sometimes is that easy, and I'm glad you mentioned the study abroad fair too, because that has already happened for this year, at least this semester. But for anyone listening in the future, if you have questions or things about studying abroad, that is a huge place to go. They got tables setting up. You were just tabling at this past one, so if you go to a fair, do a program, you're enslaved to the department forevermore because then you got to get other people to do it. So South Africa is a place that you basically Googled just to find, and you had some anxieties about studying abroad. What was running through your head before going here? What were some of the anxieties that you had?
Honestly, my only anxiety, I didn't care about the location. I just cared about leaving my family. Like, I had never been apart from them for more than 2 weeks. Is when I went to summer camp and
oh my goodness.
in middle school because I'm always visiting my mom, and that was the only thing I was worried about. And I was also worried about the people I was gonna meet because I didn't know them. There was one other guy that went to Iowa and he went with me, so that was really good, but everyone else was from around the country. And I was talking to people and they were like, no, that's gonna be the best thing ever. You're gonna meet people from everywhere. It's gonna be so fun. But I mean, you always have anxiety about meeting people. Honestly, it worked out beautifully. I'm probably going to go to New York to visit one of my friends.
Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, you're braver than most in the fact that you weren't worried about like language or money or the fact that you had to fly freaking 18 hours to get down there. It was just being away from your family. And I know that that's a huge anxiety and worry for a lot of prospective students studying abroad, being away from their families for such an extended period of time. How did you come to cope with that? How did you approach that? And what would you say to students who are worried about leaving their family and their friends for such a long time?
Growth happens when you're uncomfortable. And I learned that there. And honestly, my only worry was leaving my family. And once I got there, the anxieties just left. Like, it was so much fun and the time genuinely flew by. And I always told myself, like, when I did really miss them, I tell myself it's such a privilege to even be here and get this opportunity. Take it for what it is and like do the most with it. So that kept me going. And now that I'm back, I'm like, dang it, I want to go back.
You need to go again, right?
I know. So don't ever be anxious because it's all going to work out.
And I think the people and the staff here will make sure that it works out too and all that. We promise we're not going to send you in blind to any place, especially to the farthest reaches of Earth like South Africa is. So moving on, and we're just kind of going chronologically here. So you get to South Africa and you were in Cape Town. What were your initial impressions and what were those first few days like getting into both your internship but settling into living in Cape Town for the next, 8 weeks?
Yeah, I landed pretty late. I got there at like midnight. So honestly, I didn't know where I was in the building because I got there really late after an 18-hour flight. I didn't even sleep. And I woke up and I was like, dang, I'm actually in Africa. And I just met everyone, and it's so great because everyone's in the same boat as you. Nobody knows anything. Everyone, you know what I'm saying? Like
We all had the
everyone's just,
collective thought, dang, we in Africa
yeah,
now.
literally, literally. So, yeah, it was just exploring the city. IES did such a good job about accustoming us to the city and getting to know everyone and everything. So we had a walking tour. We had like a little meet and greet session with everyone, a dinner. It was really, really beautiful. And then, yeah, those first couple of days was just a vibe. There was no internship, no responsibilities. It was just exploring the city. Like we jumped in the beach when it was winter there. It was
Oh my
great.
gosh.
Yeah.
And you're like, occupational therapy classes? Never heard of her. So now that you've gotten to your internship, talk about what a typical day or your responsibilities during your internship was.
Yeah, so as I said, that first week, it was just kind of an exploring. And then I started on Monday. They gave me my schedule over it. And my advisor there, we had a one-on-one before I went. And she told me, like, what to expect. They told me, like, the work culture there, like, who my supervisor was. It was really great, the way that they handled everything. And I took the Uber by myself. I just typed in the location they gave me. And I got to District 6 Clinic, which is in District 6. It's a really nice area. And got with my supervisor. She was so great. She is the family physician at the clinic, and she oversees everything. And yeah, it was from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. is what it said on paper. But I mean, some days I stayed until 4. Other days I left at 12 because she told me to go to the beach. You know, it was really flexible, their hours. But I mean, you always want to respect them and respect the program. You never want to like overstep boundaries or like leave early or things like that.
So what did you learn? What were some of the things that you took away from working in this clinic? Definitely in a place where you probably don't speak the language, the facilities, the equipment are different, the whole setup is different. What did you take away from this?
I worked very closely with the occupational therapist there. She really guided me, and I was so grateful that I didn't even know there was an occupational therapist there. So that she was there was awesome. I was with her Mondays and Tuesdays at the District 6 clinic, and then she would drive me to the rural hospital, which was like an hour away. And that is where I really like learned occupational therapy, and I learned just like perspective. I gained that so much through the rural hospital, and we met with so many patients, and you learn about their stories because with OT you really need a holistic view of the patient. And I mean, there was times when they were just in shambles crying and you have to comfort them, and then I would be in shambles. But it was so great because I could not have learned what I learned in these clinics and hospitals in a lecture hall. I could not. I wouldn't have come near close to learning what I have learned. And I don't know, I couldn't even put into words. We had an orientation before we left back home, and I told everyone, I was like, this experience was so awesome. I can't put it into words when I go back. And everyone's like, yeah, we feel the exact same way.
And here you are, okay, of course, trying to put it into words.
I know exactly what I didn't want to do.
So you talked about perspective and working with rural hospitals. What was some of the perspectives that you gained? What were some of the stories or like just not culture shocks per se, but just, I guess, culture shock, there really is no better thing, of working in things like these rural hospitals, these clinics and things like that. How did that affect you? What were some of the things that you felt from that?
Yeah, there's so many stories because we met with so many patients. There's only one OT in the whole hospital. So we were seeing like 8 patients a day when we were only there from 9 to 2. I would join in on their rounds, the physicians and the social workers, and they did rounds on the patients that were an inpatient. And the thing that shocked me is they had to pick and choose which patient got the resources. They had to basically pick their destiny, which is actually so crazy to think about. Like if you were older or if you were a chronic smoker, you wouldn't get the resources that another person would get. They really had to pick and choose, and I would just stand there like listening to their conversations about who's going to get the resources, because it's just so limited and they have to work with what they have. There was a family that will always stick with me. They came in my second day, and it was of a woman who had a stroke 3 years ago. And she came into the hospital, and they sent her back because they didn't have any beds. And they were like, we'll call you when we get a bed again. She's paralyzed now. And she came in 2 years later to the OT appointment, and she was like, when am I going to be able to walk? And we had to tell her, like, you're never going to be able to walk again, because recovery happens in the first year. And seeing the look on her face, like, she had so much trust in this healthcare system because they live in poverty. They don't have an education. Like, they think the healthcare system will help them, that they have the resources, that they're educated. And to see that the system failed her, I mean, it's like, I can't go home and be like, I don't want to go to class today. I don't want to do my homework. Like, people have these real problems. And I felt so embarrassed to have had the problems or the worries that I've had, because it's like, it's nothing compared to what a majority of the world goes through. And I feel like in Iowa, we're just stuck in this bubble. We don't know, unless you go out of this country or city or state or whatever, you don't know what's out there until you experience it, and you come back, you'll change everything about your life.
How do you take such a heartbreaking, eye-opening, lack of better terms, experience, and apply that to not only your perspective on life, but also to your career, to how the rest of your classes go? How have you been taking and using that experience?
I mean, it's kind of going off of what I said. Like, I don't take anything for granted anymore. I know how privileged I am. Like, growing up, I knew I was privileged. Like, my parents are from Mexico and they immigrated here, and I knew I was privileged. But just going out to South Africa and experiencing that, it was just like, it was really on a whole nother level. I just can't put it into words, honestly. It's just an everyday thing where it's like, oh, I don't want to go to class. Like, girl, go to class. Like, that is not a problem. Like, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, definitely in my career. I mean, I wrote this in my scholarships for study abroad. I was like, I want to gain cultural competence outside the United States. Like, before I went to South Africa, I thought I had it. I was like, I'm from Mexico, or I'm not from Mexico, but my family is. I was like, I know I'm culturally competent. Come on. No. You have to go to another place and really experience that. And I wanted to gain cultural competence as a healthcare professional because I know what my mom went through in the healthcare system in the United States. She couldn't express through language what was wrong, and she'd get shut off because, I mean, she couldn't really speak English that well. They just shut her down. And I didn't want to be that for another person, regardless of their culture, their background. So yeah, I wanted to gain that through study abroad, and it really opened my eyes and has been helping me in what direction I want to go through in OT. I mean, there's so many different avenues. So yeah.
Did it continue did you want to further go deeper into being OT, doing OT kind of work after having this experience? Like, did it strengthen the drive and the resolve that you had?
That's so funny that you said that, because my study abroad advisor came to visit me in South Africa. And I sat down and I talked to her, and I was like, after this experience, I genuinely don't know about my career anymore. It completely shifted everything, because from senior year of high school, I was fixated on occupational therapy. And I'm the type of person that if I have a plan, it needs to be followed through. You know what I'm saying? But this experience, it's like, I don't want to be isolated in a hospital as an occupational therapist. Like, I want to outreach to so many different people because I know that there's so many vulnerable populations out there that need the service and the assistance. And now in my head, I'm like, dang, do I actually want to do it? But I definitely do want to follow through because it's a service career and that's what I want. But yeah, I was telling Monica, I was like, let me intern for the World Health Organization. Like, let's do it. And she was like, okay, I'll give you the resources. Like, do it. And now I'm like on the fence. Like, I don't know. It really made me stop and think about what I want to do. And I didn't think that experience would do that for me. Yeah, it definitely made me do that.
Well, that was going to be my next question then, was if you had the opportunity to intern abroad or work abroad in this kind of capacity again, would you do it? Would you go wholeheartedly into doing that again?
I'm looking at interning in Tokyo, Japan next
Oh my
summer.
goodness.
Did I tell you that?
No, you didn't. Well, we'll be back here in a year, I guess, hopefully when that's all finished out and done.
Hopefully that makes it out. Yeah, it was just such an amazing experience, and I was so anxious on going to South Africa. I didn't think about it until the day before. I really didn't, because I was just trying to focus on my family and like being with them. But that experience taught me so much that I was like, I need to do it again. I just need to do it in a different place. I need to experience more things. And yeah, growth happens when you're uncomfortable. That's what I've been telling myself all the time, because Asia was so intimidating to me because it's just like another world in my head. But I was like, no, I need to do it. I grew so much from that experience. I need to do it again.
Just stacking things that are going to round your whole experience and outlook on what your professional career may end up being. And plus, you've already tanked like a friggin' 18-hour flight to South Africa, so 14 hours direct to Tokyo shouldn't be too terrible, right?
No, it shouldn't, but that flight, at least it was cut in half.
That is nice. And I will say, too, is as much as we like to offer advice and perspectives on things here on this podcast, can't tell you anything about how to get over flights, especially really, really long flights. I mean, I can't sleep on planes. That's my weakness when it comes to traveling. So if I had to take like a 2-legged 18-hour thing down to South Africa, I might actually be dead by the time we get down there because I cannot sleep in planes. I've tried every remedy known to man. So, if you're listening to this and you're thinking about, dang, the flight's going to be long, hopefully you can actually sleep on planes. Because I got no advice for you. I don't know if Veronica has any advice for you either, other than what, sleep?
Okay, it's really not that bad. Like, when I took my flight to Mexico, it was 4 hours. I was like, there's no way I can do 18. Like, there's actually no way. I always need to be standing. But it's not that bad. Just bring compression socks. That's all you need. Compression socks and a good show. And you're good. Because you're going to regardless, you're going to make it. If you die or not, you're going to make it there. You'll be fine.
You'll make it there, dead or alive. At least I think that's what you're saying. No. It'll be cool if you decide to, or if you're willing to take that step to do like the big flights and stuff like that. I personally am just like, pass. I'm okay. But so shifting gears, and I do thank you for sharing that, because that real raw experience there is something that we can't just like gloss over in these kinds of things. And that's a real part of studying abroad, is not just like, oh, I went to this place and, it was so fun and so beautiful, but like the real stuff with that. So I really thank you for sharing that. And I think that if you're studying abroad and you haven't had an experience like that, you've done it wrong. You've 100% done it wrong.
Definitely.
But to shift gears here and to just keep us going, talk about what it was like living in Cape Town, South Africa. I hope it lived up to how beautiful it was on Google Images and things like that. But what was life like?
It was a movie. It was literally a movie. When people tell me about my experience, I just say it was a movie, because it was. It was beautiful. It was a different culture, and I love that. I mean, the food wasn't as good as my Mexican food, but
oh no.
I still ate it. Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, we Ubered everywhere. So Uber is really cheap there. It was like $1 or $2 everywhere you went. And if you were going with a group, you weren't paying nothing, basically. Cape Town, there's always something to do. And coming from Clinton, Iowa, where there's nothing to do, I was like, okay.
Shout outs to Clinton, Iowa, man.
Shout out, honestly. I love that place. But yeah, Cape Town has beaches, several beaches. They have tons of mountains that you can hike. They have penguins. They have everything. They literally have everything.
They got penguins, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I might have to go to South Africa just for the penguins. I really do love penguins. What was the thing that in your leisure time, and obviously the beach, it's Cape Town, it's South Africa, it's beautiful, but what were the things that you were, and the experiences that you were seeking out to do in your free time while you were there?
I was just doing what everyone else wanted to do, honestly. The one thing I wanted, actually, I was just getting out of my comfort zone because I've never been surfing, I've never been paragliding. All those things I did, which was amazing. Paragliding was like, honestly, right before I was like, I'm not going to do this anymore. We were jumping off of a mountain. I was like,
I would have been absolutely not. I ain't doing that. Are you kidding me?
But they were basically just like, run. I was like, what do you mean?
What do you mean, dude?
So I just ran off of the mountain and it was so cool. Yeah, I went surfing a couple times. I've never done that. But it's also winter in South Africa over our summer. So, but like winter over there is like 70 degrees. So like the locals thought I was crazy when I jumped in the beach, but like it really wasn't that bad.
Like beats Iowa temperatures and then off you go.
I know. But yeah, there was so many food places to try. I probably ate out way too many times. And I mean, like the conversion's in your favor. So that's what I was telling myself when I was at all these different restaurants.
That's a good tip too for basically any study abroad place except for maybe the Euro. And if you studied abroad in the Middle East, the conversion rate is always going to be in your favor. So definitely take advantage of eating out all the time or Ubering for like $1.
Yeah, literally. We did a safari on ATVs. There's like the dunes, which is like you know what a dune is? It's
Yeah.
the sand vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was ATVs for that. There was just a bunch. Honestly, if you just Googled anything you wanted to do, you could find it. And there's just so many people that were in my program. There's 30 people. Like if I just text in the group chat, someone would want to come with me. So that was awesome.
What was the safari like? What's a South African safari experience?
I didn't do a true safari because we were in Cape Town and the good safari is in Johannesburg.
Okay.
So that's like a flight away. But we did like a close one. I think it was like 2-hour van away. We saw like, you know, the big five, the elephants, the zebras, the lions. It was cute. We did like an ATV through it. The workers there were so nice. It was like at some... It honestly was giving resort. Like there was like a pool there. They gave us breakfast. I was like, wait, what? It was awesome. You could do a horse like safari moment. Like you could ride a horse through the safari.
What?
Isn't that crazy that they didn't run away because of the zebras?
I want to do that. I remember the one time that I've been on safari. I'm making gigantic air quotes, by the way. Was down at this joint in Bentonville, Arkansas on somebody's farm. And I don't know if it was legal or not for the fact that he had all these animals, but it was this drive-through safari. And this dude had like giraffes and zebras. He had an entire lion out there. He had a couple bears, things like that. I'm like, dog, we in Northwest Arkansas. What in the world? So I would not mind going down to Cape Town, South Africa and riding horses through the safari. That sounds like an absolute dream.
Yeah, it really was. And it was so funny because I was in so many Ubers. Like, you just become friends with them, honestly. And they would give me so many suggestions of what to do next. I was like, this is awesome. I'm always getting some new info, you know?
Did you have anyone give you like any like strange suggestions or ones that you thought were strange at face value, but then they worked out?
I will just say strange, like I never did it. Shark cage diving. One of the Uber drivers told me to do that. I was like, get out. I'm getting out of this car right now.
No, dude. I mean,
No.
I might take that over paragliding because I am deathly terrified of heights. So given the choice between the two, I might take the shark cage diving, but nah, I'm okay.
Yeah, no. But yeah, we did so many, like I was there for 2 months. I completely forgot that we went whale watching. We went on a little wine tour with IES. IES had like their own planned trips, which was really nice because you just sit back and let them figure it all out. But we had like a 3-day trip to Hermanus, which is like we went to like the most southern point of Africa. We just stood there and we're at the most southern point of Africa, so that was fun.
It's almost like we're in a place named after it.
And yeah, we spent 3 days there. Like they had accommodations for us. We saw whales, we saw seals, we saw the African penguins like on a little boat. It was really nice. Really, really nice.
Oh, wow. So what I'm gathering from this is that Cape Town has a lot, but like even for maybe adrenaline junkies or, you know, people who are into the more kind of extreme adventuring and that, South Africa's got you.
Definitely. People did bungee jumping off of like the highest bungee jump in the world or something. I was like, okay, you guys are crazy. I'm not doing that.
Mm-mm.
My mom would be so mad if I did that. She was already mad that I went paragliding.
That's the other thing is when it comes to extreme experiences studying abroad, you tell your parents and the university after you did said things. Never tell them before.
That's exactly what I did.
Oh my goodness. Highest bungee jumping. Again, way too afraid of heights. Could not do it. I commend the people who were honestly stupid enough to do that. Did you go anywhere? Like, you obviously were in kind of like the greater Cape Townish area and you went to the south of South Africa. Did you go any other places kind of away from the greater Cape Town area that were just a different part of South Africa?
We went to Stellenbosch, which is like a kind of like a wine vibe. They have a lot of wine. What is it called? Wine bars?
Vineyard.
I don't know, y'all. I don't drink wine, but we went there. We stayed at an Airbnb. That was really nice. We toured like the little city. But yeah, Cape Town is just so big. I mean, when I worked at District 6 Clinic and I also went to Dunoon Clinic, and Dunoon Clinic is in like the townships of Cape Town. So definitely an eye-opening experience for sure. It was a lot of informal settlements. I mean, when you look at it, you just can't believe that there's families living in these settlements. So yeah, that was very interesting.
You're perfectly leading me into my next thing, which was, what did you notice culturally about South Africa and South Africans?
I think it's just so obvious when you go there. I mean, when you're like driving down the highway or the street, you see a mansion on one side and those informal settlements I was talking about on the other. It's so blatant, the contrast there. I mean, you'd be dumb if you couldn't figure it out, you know? Yeah, I mean, even when you went to a restaurant or just, you would see like every server, every waitress, every Uber driver, every garbage cleaner, every like kind of blue collar or whatever job you can think of was Black individuals. And then the CEOs, the managers, the prestigious people were the whites. And I mean, you can see that. I noticed that every single day. So that was insane. And I'm Mexican. And there, I was white. And I was like, wait, this is so different. So it was just interesting how much your race is connected to your identity there. Because, I mean, here it's a little different, I guess. But there it's just like, I mean, I feel like it's written on your forehead there. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Yeah.
That to see such kind of like blatant divided lines, you know, a lot of stuff people think it's more like implicit kind of things like that. But for it to be, at least in your view, so explicit, and for you to be like considered white by them too, that's got to be something different. There's something completely out of the ordinary to feel and to see that, like, that classification within society. That's some really interesting insight to think about. How did you, because South Africa obviously is a melting pot of different places, but in terms of language, it's not like you're going to be picking up Afrikaans or Xhosa easily. Those aren't really things that we study around here, we think about. How did you do with language, with getting around with language, not within your program, but just being around? Because again, if you're going to, you know, Japan, or if you're going to France or Spain or Italy and things like that, you know, they have English resources, but those are also pretty easily studyable, have resources available for whatever language of that place. But again, not really got anything for Afrikaans or Xhosa. So what was the language barrier like? Was it intimidating? Could you get around it pretty easily?
There was no language barrier at all. Everyone I talked to knew English. Because, I mean, they knew English and like 6 other languages.
Oh my goodness.
So,
okay.
Yeah, it was like you were honestly dumb if you only knew 2 languages, because I was feeling myself. I was like, okay, guys, I know Spanish. They were like, that's it. And I was like, oh.
Oh,
But yeah, everyone knew English. There was no language barrier. I mean, everyone had an accent, like a British kind of accent. So that was pretty cool. So they knew I wasn't South African right away when I spoke with my American accent. So they could easily pick me out. But yeah, there was really no language barrier at all. I learned I learned a little bit, like honestly, one word of each language. I learned a lot of French. A lot of the Uber drivers were from the Congo, and I told them to teach me French, so that was nice. But yeah, no language barrier at all. If you're worried about that, that does not exist in South Africa.
well, that's good. I mean, that was kind of my job to say that, but that's okay. But that's good then, because that's another thing that really drives people off of studying abroad or causes a lot of worry is like we're going to a place like South Africa, again, not readily available resources to either teach the language or have English, but the fact that everyone speaks 7 languages, I guess, I think that'll be relieving for a lot of people to hear and for a lot of people to know. Moving on, though, and kind of switching subjects, you talked about this a little bit earlier, and I really want you to dive deep on this. You talked about scholarships. You'd mentioned something about scholarships and being able to go, and a lot of people talk about how studying abroad doesn't seem feasible because of monetary concerns. And it's a very well-founded thing. Studying abroad is expensive. But what was your experience like, not only in getting scholarships, but also just using money and working with money abroad?
Yeah, I was that person. I was the person that was like, I wasn't even going to go to that fair because I was like, I don't have, $20,000, $10,000 to drop on a trip. Like, I'm trying to pay for my college right now, you know? And I did go to that fair, and I stopped at the scholarships table, got my pamphlets, and I really reached out to everyone in the department. I was like talking to them. They knew I was worried about the money, and they really guided me on what scholarships I could apply for based on like my financial need, just my background, like where I was going in specific, because there's scholarships directed towards non-traditional locations. So South Africa is one of them. But yeah, I mean, bringing it up to my mom, I was like, when I first told her, Mom, I want to go to South Africa, she was like, what are you talking about? She thought I was joking.
Visualize the eyebrow raising.
I know, but I was like, no, I really think I can make this happen. After all these meetings I was with all these different advisors, they were showing me all these opportunities, and IES had their own opportunities. So I would call my advisor for IES, and she recommended me for this scholarship. It's called the Himera Scholarship. She was like, I will recommend you for the scholarship because I know you're really working on this. And I ended up getting that just because I called her, and it's a $7,000 scholarship.
Oh, my word.
I know. So it's like you really need to reach out. You can't just sit at your bed and be like, no, I can't study abroad because I don't have the money. Like, no, you don't get the scholarships. You have a guarantee of not getting the scholarships you don't apply for. You know, like reaching out and doing it. But yeah, the concept of studying abroad in my head before I went to the fair was like people that can pay for it out of pocket go, of a certain demographic in my head. And I was like, I am a Mexican, I'm a minority, I don't know anyone in my realm that studied abroad. Like my parents didn't go to high school. They wanted me to go to a university and spend all my focus and time there. Because, I mean, financially it's so expensive to even go here. So at another expense on top of that over the summer when I should be working was just never in the cards for me. And I did these meetings and I really, really wanted to go. And I was like, okay, I'm going to make this happen if I really want to go. And I did. And there's just so many opportunities. I don't think people understand that it's like you can get it either partially or all paid for if you put the time and the work in. And trust me, it was a lot. Like I had school, I had these essays due, but I really wanted to do it and I made it happen.
And so what you're saying is that the reaching out and expanding beyond your horizons, if you will, starts in the scholarship process and starts in the application process, not just when you get there, but like you have to have the gumption to be able to say, I know that there's money here, or even if there's not, I'm going to inquire about it because surely someone's there. Talk a little bit more about the specific scholarship that you got and the non-traditional ones as well. Talk just a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so I met with Monica, my advisor, and she was like, you need to apply for the Benjamin Gilman Scholarship. I was like, okay, give me the rundown on what it even is. And she was like, if you're a Pell Grant recipient, even if you don't get the scholarship, but you still apply it, you can still get $1,000. And I was like, as soon as she said that, I was like, okay, you know what? I can go to South Africa. I was like, if this scholarship is doing it, imagine what other scholarships are. So yeah, I applied for that. It was pretty lengthy, but I mean, like, what people don't understand, it's like, if a scholarship is what, $500 and it's telling you to write an essay, you're getting $500 for spending 30 minutes on an essay. Meanwhile, people are complaining about that, but they're still going to their job, which gives them $13 an hour. So it's like, if you really put yourself in that perspective, you're getting rich. You just need to write the essays. Yeah, so there was that Benjamin Gilman one. I mean, there's just so many. If you just look up UIWA scholarship, study abroad, that was bookmarked on my computer. There's just so many of them. And then Monica was telling me, she was like, you are going to non-traditional location. And if I'm being honest, I don't remember the name of the scholarship that it was for. I think it was Dr. Ken Majid. I'm pretty sure.
I think that sounds about right, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's that one. And she was like, I mean, not many people go anywhere but Europe. So that's why they want to do it. They want people to go out to the other parts of the earth. So yeah, I applied to that one and I got it. And you just need to talk with the University of Iowa and your program you're going through. What I went through was IES, and just based on your financial need, there's need-based grants, and the university gives you them and your program gives you them. So yeah, I got both of those. And if you apply for FAFSA, you get money as well. If I wish I knew this before. I wish someone told me this before, but when you're applying for FAFSA, you need to do 6 or more credit hours to get that. Like, if I'm a Pell Grant recipient, so they would give me, I think they gave me $2,000, but I need to have taken more than 6 credits. So that was great that I knew that before I applied, because there's a 3 credit option for my program and there's a 6 credit. So I took the 6 credit. So that's important to understand. Take 6 credit hours if you're wanting to apply for FAFSA.
Because if they're going to be paying for it, if it's all going to be comped, then you might as well get a whole bunch of hours out of it too. And to add on to what you were saying about how even departmentally, there's money set aside in these different places for students thinking about studying abroad and wanting to get scholarships. And everyone should apply to scholarships no matter what. There's so much money there. But not only within the program that you're doing or within international studies, but also just within the departments at the University of Iowa themselves, there is money set aside for people to study abroad that a lot of people don't know about. And they can't just have that money go away. And if you ask for it, a lot of the times it's just getting up the courage and asking for it. Like Veronica's been saying, when I went and studied abroad in Chile, I told the journalism department, hey, I'm studying abroad in Chile, and for a semester, they're like, sweet, here's $1,800. Just outright. Didn't have to write an essay, didn't have to do anything like that. Am I saying it's going to be that easy? Probably not. But if you just ask, the inquiry is the biggest thing. And so even interdepartmentally, if you're an education major or biochem or criminology or things like that, there are scholarships within there for you. And so taking advantage of those is the biggest thing. I think both what you're saying and what I'm saying too, the money is right there. And if you want to comment any more on that, absolutely.
I mean, yeah, you really just got to apply. And we're not saying that you're going to get all the scholarships you apply for. Like, I got rejected by a lot of them, but it's like, as I said, you won't get the scholarship if you don't apply for it. And the university has so many, but there is so many external scholarships. It's insane. I applied for 5 of them. There's just so many out there. You can talk with your hometown. I'm sure they have Rotary clubs or other things like that will fund it. You really just need to advocate for yourself and reach out to people, because they will. They want you to go and have this experience, because it's truly once in a lifetime.
Did the local Clinton, Iowa Rotary chapter have a stake in said South Africa adventure?
No, they didn't, but they did give me a scholarship for the university, my education here, which is awesome. I didn't need to do anything. They just reached out and they knew I did a service project abroad in Mexico, and they knew about it, and they were like, we want to help you with your education. Here's $1,000. I was like, yay.
Yay, thank you. Where would you direct students, Rotary clubs, but is there any specific place you would direct students to go for external scholarship things?
The study abroad fair. They had there's so many different programs and pamphlets. I just grabbed every single pamphlet from everywhere, and I scanned the QR code, and it took me to these external ones. It's just when you click on one link, I guarantee you it'll take you down a rabbit hole. That's what I did one day. I spent hours just researching, and you just need one link. One link is all you need. And you can even get that from the University of Iowa, scholarship portal. Just click on a scholarship. It'll take you to another recommended scholarship and another one and another one. So, yeah.
Is that the biggest takeaway maybe for others then that you have over your trip is that, well, one, you need to rock up to Cape Town, South Africa because it's freaking amazing, but that it is affordable and there's so many resources there for you?
Definitely. I would not have went to South Africa if I didn't have the financial assistance I had. I told my mom, I was like, if I don't get this, I'm not going. Because I can't go. I can't afford that. And it did end up happening. But I think if you really want to set yourself apart from everyone else, go somewhere that no one goes to. Go somewhere no one goes to, but also go with a purpose. Show these scholarship committees that you're going there for something. You want something out of this experience. Don't be I'm trying to go see these nice locations and take in the views. No, go there for something that will give you something back. I went because I wanted to gain cultural competence in the healthcare system. And I put that, and they really like that because that's not what most people do when they study abroad. They want to take in the experience, go out and eat, go out to these places. But it's as you said, you're doing it wrong if you don't gain these perspectives. You really are.
You found something within it that, well, first of all, you lived up to the scholarship essays that you were writing for real, but you found something that had true meaning in it and an experience that had true meaning in it. Not saying that all study abroad experiences that don't, shake your soul are just frivolous, but you really found that deeper meaning in what you were doing, and you found that deeper purpose. And if I'm interpreting what you're saying correctly, that going to places that maybe aren't Italy or Spain or these places that have such touristic draw, if you go somewhere that is off the beaten path, that can get you scholarships for going off the beaten path, you can really find a lot of purpose and deeper meaning from that.
Definitely. And I'm not saying I'll never go to Italy. I want to go so bad, but it's in my head, if a program is taking you anywhere in the world, they're going to guide you, they're going to give you the accommodations. Go somewhere that you would never think of going. I can go to Italy if I want, because there's just so many, you can just Google it and it's all good. But places like South Africa or Tokyo or whatever, I would need the guidance if I was in there. And I had my advisors and I had the people around me, so that was really nice being in a foreign country. So if I could give any piece of advice, it'd be to go somewhere where you would never believe you'd be able to go to. Go to Antarctica.
Go to Antarctica. Well, you know what? I can plug a little bit of that actually, because I wanted to I had kind of the same mindset that you did. Now, to be fair, and I'm whispering into the microphone here, I've also studied in Europe twice, so I can't say nothing. But when I was going to Chile, or when I studied in Chile, I really wanted to do a place that was off the beaten path and somewhere that people weren't going to go and then figure it out. And being in Chile changed my life. But we're not interviewing me. Otherwise, I'd be here for hours talking about it. But if you go to Chile, anyone who goes to Chile, if you go during the right season, and it is expensive, you could go to Antarctica if you wanted to. That's the kind of experience that awaits you doing these kinds of things. If you want to go to Antarctica, go to Chile. You could also do it through Argentina. Those are the kinds of things, the Eiffel Tower will be there. Again, though, I already lived in Paris, so I can't really say anything about that. But things like the Eiffel Tower and the Colosseum and all that kind of stuff, those will be there whenever. But, what Veronica is saying is, this might be your one shot just on your own time and on someone else's dime to go see something truly extraordinary. So Antarctica's on the table if you go to Chile. That's my plug for this whole thing.
I was joking. I was literally joking. I didn't know you could do that.
No, yeah, you can actually go to Antarctica. It is so dang expensive, but it is possible. If you have like half as much as your program down there costs, just lying on hand, you can do it 100%. You can also go whale watching in Chile too. And there's a bunch of penguins there. But we're not here to play Chile. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. So that is great to know that, you know, going somewhere that's off the beaten path, there's money for that, and you found purpose, you found meaning, you had real experiences there. How did you balance a lot of like, you know, your clinic life with these like really real experiences and the fun that you had there? Were there days where it was just kind of challenging going through the motions of like, dang, I'm in South Africa and there's a lot going on all at once and I'm dealing with really hard things at work, at my internship, and I maybe feel a little bit disconnected? Did you ever go through any of that?
Definitely. I went through that a lot in the beginning because I was like, how am I going to go to this clinic, hear these stories, and go back home and like go out to eat? Because, I mean, a majority of the people don't have that opportunity to even eat, which was insane. But I think what really, really helped me is there was 30 other people going through the exact same thing. And I would talk to them about it and they would talk to me. And it was awesome that we shared that experience together and we can relate to one another. That's what I'm saying. I have friends in New York and Colorado and all these different places, which is awesome now. But it was so great that we shared that experience and we could talk to each other. And I mean, I called people back home, but they didn't know what I was talking about. Like, only the people there knew. So that's honestly what got me through the emotional aspect of it. And also my advisors there, I talked with them a lot. They were always open to talk with me about my experience. We had like sit down one-on-one meetings that were like kind of structured, but there was other times where I'd just stop by the office and be like, hey guys, this is what just happened to me. And they would listen, and they're locals. Like, they know that's their normal, and they know that it's not normal for the people coming in. So that was really, really nice. But I mean, there were some days where I was like, okay, I'm not going anywhere today. I'm just going to rot in my bed, please. Like, it's still the summer. Like, I'm not in school. But there was one person in the program, he wanted to do everything. Every single day, he had stuff scheduled. Like, this man went skydiving.
The brother is taking advantage.
Yeah. No, really, he went like skydiving one day. He did a 5K race and he hiked all in one day.
5K? What in the world?
I was like, okay, I can never do that, but sometimes I tagged along. So there was always something to do, which was awesome.
And you still found such joy through that too, which I think is a real good testament to your experience too, that you're not going over there to suffer. There's the learning and the hardship that comes from the learning, but it produces such joy. And you talk about, you got the bug, you got the study abroad bug. You want to go again. And you're actively making preparations to happen, or to make that happen. And that's an amazing thing. And we really got to find a term for like what it is when you catch this study abroad bug of like, you have to do it and go again. And, you know, you're facilitating, or hopefully facilitating, crossover episodes with different people from your program and things like that here back in the States. We do love a good crossover episode over here. But to close us out and kind of finish off this experience here, you've talked about a lot of lessons that you've learned from it that you want other people to learn from it. How would you round out either one big lesson, or like what are just the most main points that you want people to know about either interning abroad or being in South Africa, or, you know, the scholarships and money? How do you package this up and give this to someone? Pitch it like you're at the study abroad fair.
I always told everyone at the study abroad fair, the piece of advice I'd give to anyone is to intern abroad. Intern abroad. You have a guaranteed full-time internship, and you will learn everything that a study abroad person is, like doing classes, but you're actually experiencing it. Like, there was another group that was studying and actually taking classes, and they were telling me about their exams, and I was like, I already learned this. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't have to sit in a lecture hall, listen to some teacher talk and some PowerPoint slides. Like, I saw it for my own eyes, and it helped me learn not just about like the healthcare system and things like the logistics and all that, but it helped me learn about myself, and I grew in myself, and I can't do that in a lecture hall. So it's like, if you're not knowing where to start about study abroad, take my advice and intern abroad. Like, it's just amazing. It really is, because it's hands-on. Who wouldn't want that? Who would want to take an exam when you're studying abroad? And it's awesome because I got 6 credits from that. So I was still taking a class, because we had like, my internship was Monday through Thursday, 8 to 2. And then Friday morning we had a class. It was like an hour, but it really wasn't class, because we were just reflecting on our experiences. Because the people in my program were all interning in different places. Like, I was the person at the clinic. There was other people like in finance. There was engineers. There was people working at like a landfill. It was crazy. There's so many different people. So that made it fun, like when we were reflecting. But yeah, I got 3 credit hours for that. And then I had like a little Zoom class Tuesday nights that I got credit for. I mean, I just had to make a presentation. So that was really nice. So the classes were really, really laid back, no exams. And this is just for my program, by the way. I don't know if it's the same for everyone. But yeah, definitely the best thing you can do is intern abroad. And I think anywhere you go, you will grow. You know, we're saying like, well, I'm saying like go anywhere other than Europe. But if you do decide, I mean, you're going to grow either way. And that's the beautiful part of studying abroad. Like, I know the price tag is like, it scared me away. I didn't think about it for a month, because I was like, I saw $12,000 and I was like, okay, goodbye. I'm done with this. But like, take initiative, and if you really want to do it, you'll do it.
Those are good lessons. Those are good things to know and to keep. And I, as a prospective student at our little study abroad fair here, I am very much intrigued to go and study again. Give us, again, just rounding us out here, give us some of your like most high points, favorite points from just your whole trip abroad.
Oh my gosh, someone asked me this before and I didn't know what to say. It's the whole experience for me. I really can't pinpoint a specific day where I was like, wait, actually I can. I had my birthday on my study abroad.
Oh my goodness.
I
Well,
know.
happy birthday from South Africa.
Yes, I had my birthday, and before I left, my birthday's in June, I was like, this is going to be such a sad birthday because I don't even know these people. I'm in a foreign country. I'm not with my family. That was the best day. That's when we went on like a boat and we saw seals. We had like a whole day on the beach, which was really nice because IES planned it. And then like the friends I did.
Specifically for you, or like
No,
did it just happen to fall
people
on
think,
it?
Yeah, people think that it just happened to fall on that day.
We'll just say that they planned it specifically for you and call it good.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and the people that I did meet that became my best friends, they like surprised me with a cake and they all sang for me. It was so awesome. And I think the experience in general was my favorite part of the whole thing. Like really working in the clinic, and I just wasn't with the occupational therapist. Like there were some days where I was like, okay, I need to get out of my comfort zone, and I went to like the mother and child, and I was taking vitals, I was weighing babies, I was doing everything. Honestly, I was taking urine tests, I was doing pregnancy tests for people. It was awesome. And I was in the emergency room, which was terrifying. That's how I knew I didn't do well with needles at all. I won't even describe the things that I saw in the emergency room, but
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I can't do needles either.
yeah, it was bad. Like, yeah, I had to like close my eyes at one point, and like the doctors were laughing at me, but I was like, I can't do this. So yeah, I was just in so many different sectors in the hospital, and I learned what I like and what I don't like. I don't like the emergency room. I don't like the needles. I don't like that. So that was awesome. So OT was really my vibe, the rehab, the closed wounds of it all. So yeah, but I mean, connecting with the patients, connecting with the staff was awesome. I got to talk with them. They became my friends. Yeah, just the whole experience in general, the people that I met. I mean, I was sad when we all left because I was like, the chances of us seeing again are so slim because we're just from across the country. And it's like we share this experience together and no one will be able to take that away. Like if I see them in the street right now, I'm gonna be like, dang, hi. Like it was sad. And when people told me that like this experience will change your life and the people that you meet will be your best friends, I was like,
Come on, that's
come
corny, you know?
on. Like I want to spend my summer with my true friends in Clinton, Iowa. But it really, really does. It really does. And trust me, I didn't believe it. I really didn't believe it. But go and experience it for yourself and you'll see.
It's not the happiness, the joy. It's not corny. She promises. I promise too. And I think the department and everyone else will promise that as well. So, one more thing. I always like to end with this. Favorite song or song that really summed up your study abroad experience? What do you got?
It's a Portuguese song called Capune.
Okay.
In the backstory, because I speak Spanish, I don't speak Portuguese. And my best friend there, her name's Grace, she played this song like every single night. And I was like, first of all, what is it even saying? I don't even know, but it has a beat to it if you look it up. And we were in an Uber one day. We're out in the town. And we played it in the Uber, and this man was like bumping to it. He knew all the words to it because
Oh my
he
goodness.
spoke Portuguese. So that was so fun. So now whenever I hear that song, I'm like, dang, I want to go back. I want to go back. So cherish the moments that you have studying abroad because I guarantee you, you will want to go back.
Oh man, those are just so fun and so wholesome. And yeah, to have those songs where you're like, man, what kind of thing is this? And then it actually relates to just such an impactful experience that you have. I'm so thankful that you shared that. And Veronica, I am so thankful that you came and you shared your experiences here today. Some real hard truths kind of experiences, but ones that facilitated growth, facilitated perspective, and really showed that, studying abroad and interning abroad and things like that is much more beyond the scope of what we think. Like South Africa and a lot of these other countries is really waiting for us, and it's going to shape, if you're willing, it's going to shape you in beautiful, wonderful ways that will stick with you for the rest of your life. So yeah, thank you for this. I was excited to talk about South Africa. I really honestly didn't think before we did this that this was even a viable option to study or intern abroad, but I guess really anywhere is open. And yeah, I'll close us out right here. And just again, huge thank you for everyone thinking about studying abroad. Study Abroad Fair, go to the department. Talk to your own departments. Scholarships are there. Resources are there. You are not alone in this, and no study abroad thing that you want to do is too big for you. That I will say with certainty. It is not too big for you. It is right there, and the whole world is waiting for you. And with that, I will say thank you, goodbye, and we will see you wherever and whenever in the world next time. Thanks for listening.